Howdy folks, thanks for joining me at the bar. Tasting video on the J Juice Easy Extract clone. That's her there, that's the Easy Extract. The light in here is fucking terrible. That looks, I can see that, it looks way darker than what it actually is. But anyway, can't do much about that in this setup. Oh, hang on, let me just try something. Hold on. Yeah, that doesn't really help. Anyway, let's go. So the real deal, Hop Nation J Juice. For those who aren't aware of the J Juice, it's a hazy IPA. It was one of the original early players in the NEPA scene, and in all honesty, it was probably one of the first beers like hoppy beers that I ever really enjoyed. Anyway, I've been wanting to copy this for a while. Never got around to it, and we've finally done it with the Easy Extract. So I'll put a link up to the video to the brew day. But yeah, just quick recap. Bunch of grain, about 1700. Grain doesn't really, like the grain bill doesn't matter. I brewed to 14 litres. So it's Atlas flake wheat and wheat in a steep, a small mash. Bulk of Pilsen Malt and dry, some Dex, some dry wheat and some dry Oat Malt. Original gravity 1064, fermented with Cellar Science Hazy, and finished off at 1012. We had a first wort edition of Rawaka, which I'll discuss shortly. 15-minute boil of Citra and Mosaic. In this case, with 25 grams of each, again in the 14 litres. I'll put a link down the bottom, or I will put up the full volume recipe, which gave me a bit over 22 IBU up front. Day 4 dried hop Citra and lemon drop, 25 grams of each. Now, that was meant to be Citra and Nelson Sauvin. Thumbs up to the guys at Hoppy Days. I'd taken a bit of liberty with their recipe, and integrated a few other things to get to here. It was meant to be Nelson Sauvin. I didn't have any. Well, I did have some, but I couldn't find it. It was hidden in a wrong basket. So I just thought I didn't have any. So I replaced Nelson with lemon drop. It was sort of the closest thing I had. So day 4. Then again on day 7, same thing, 25 grams of Citra and lemon drop. About 5 minutes after I actually put that dry hop in, I discovered my Nelson. 26 grams is what I had, so I threw it in. Well, what the heck? It was cold crash 2 days after that, and she was kegged on April the 20th, 12 days in the ferment. 7% ABV. So that be what we're looking at. That's the real deal. That's my crack at it. And as I said, that does look considerably different on there in colour, but it's not that far off in real life. You're gonna have to take my word for it, because I know it doesn't. I know it doesn't really look like it. But anyway. The nose is fairly similar. It's a bit deeper on mine. This is a little bit brighter, and it sort of seems to be a little bit lighter. Now, we'll talk about that. First up, that's not a bad drop. It's malty. It's got plenty of hop going on. But this is the issue. This tastes similar. This is brighter. It's got just a little bit more edge. Now, the can says they use Nelson Sauvin, Citra and Mosaic. Online, when I looked at this recipe, last time I was looking to get hops, which wasn't that long ago, it was actually after I bought these tins. The website still said Rawaka. Hoppy Days had Rawaka in their recipe, and any reference I found to it online in recipes and stuff all had Rawaka, but basically as that bittering addition. Now, I'm thinking that's thrown off my hop profile because there's a depth in that isn't here, and I think it is the Rawaka, and it's quite possible, tasting it, that there is a bit more Mosaic at play than I've used or what is put in the recipes. I think there's probably a bit more Mosaic in the dry hopping than has been stated. Whether they're using Citra or Mosaic as a bittering addition, who would know? But as a standalone beer, I'm reasonably happy with that. I said I'm pretty sure the Rawaka is providing just a little bit too much depth. I think it's certainly a flavour which I've experienced before, and I really want to tie it to the Rawaka. I think nothing else in the beer, I can be delivering the flavour that's sitting there. So the underlying flavour, both malt and hops, is very close. There's just that one thing there. So for me, I think, like I said, getting rid of the Rawaka is, I think, first thing. Getting the Nelson in as opposed to the lemon drop, and I think bringing in a little more Mosaic. The recipe was only Mosaic in the 15-minute boil. There was nothing else other than that. It's not a long way off. Need to get the colour down a little bit, and I think that's realistically within this recipe would be a case of just pulling the base grain and the dry malt down a little bit and boosting a little bit more Dex to keep the alcohol up. The alcohol is fine, 7%. The tin, this is 7.1, so we bang on there. We've got that right. The mouthfeel is good. I think the mineral content's fairly close. Again, it's hard to say. Hang on. Sorry, phone call from the lovely Mrs. Littlejohn. Anyway, I started waffling on because I didn't realise the camera had actually stopped. Yeah. So, yeah, getting that ABV in the right place by making those adjustments. Minerality, it's close. I think it's close enough. I'm certainly not enough to worry about. Maybe on a future version, may tweak it a little bit, but I'm pretty happy with the 2.5 to 1 ratio. I think that's about where it was. And not a lot of it. There is a slightly noticeable minerality in that, but it's only slight. It's not a massive amount, which is part and parcel of the NEPA. There's got to be some amount of minerality in there. It's a key component. Doesn't get talked about enough, but it is a key component. There's no doubt about it. It's very much part of the mouthfeel and the body of the beer. But yes, I'm happy with that. Haziness is great. 3.5 week old. It's been in the fridge for a good 2.5 weeks. So it's holding holding good haze. The flavour's good. It's just those, a couple of changes. So, I said, yeah, I'll drop them in the new recipe with the adjustments, which I think will get you much closer. Like I say, give it a whirl. Crack at the new recipe. It's still a good beer. As a standalone on its own, it's certainly a good beer. It's not quite the J juice, but I think that's a few adjustments going to get fairly close. But anyway, that's her. I hope you are enjoying these easy extracts. I'm enjoying putting them together. Not getting as many done as I'd like. Hopefully we'll get more, but as you'll see from other videos on the channel, I'm getting bombarded a little bit with other stuff. But I will continue to knock some out here and there. So anyway, comments or questions, stick them down the bottom. Patrons of the channel, as always, guys, thank you very much for your support. There's a link down the bottom to Patreon if you're interested. Helps the channel out, keeps me going, lets me play around and muck around with things. If you subscribe to the channel, thank you. If not, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, get notified so you don't miss any videos. And if you like this one, give me a thumbs up. But for now, easy extract, J juice. I'm going to give it a thumbs up. It's another success. Another good beer using the easy extract method. The process makes good beer. It's just getting the recipes right, and that's what we're going to continue to work on. But anyway, for now, till I see you in the next video, and we brewing beer, drinking beer, or talking beer. Good brewing. I did want to do this when I made the 4th, but I was working. Would have worked well with the Jedi juice, wouldn't it? Yeah, may the 4th be with you. But anyway, cheers, guys.